Lazola, if I may just come back to you, who would you say has the key, if I may put it that way, to actually unlock the potential for us to have lower data costs in this country?
So it would be all the costs to communicating with stakeholders. This would include the government for the spectrum issue. It would include the private companies that fund cost to communication in the country, the service providers, especially regulatory bodies like ICASA. This needs to be an effort from all of these bodies that can't just be thrown to the government at all, because each of these entities, known and unknown, contribute to cost to communication, especially including the Competition Commission, because when competition is being spoken about, our stance as the Right to Know is that competition should not disenfranchise or disempower the poor, the unemployed, the working class, the rural areas.
I mean, from the time we started, from 1994, when the new democratic government started, these initiatives of making changes, industry has always been opposed to changes, frankly. So we can't really expect them to drive this. Who should be driving? Who should be the driving? Driving
I don't necessarily agree that it's just about change. I mean, I think we're dealing with massive corporates that, thrive off profit. And that's one of the bottom lines that we need to look at. There are solutions to this problem. We see it worldwide. We see data costs being lowered. We see data being far cheaper in other countries. So I don't think it's just simply a question of we need to change. But I also agree it's a completely multi-stakeholder approach to the solution. We need government.
Well, true that,
industry.
But there are, it is the responsibility of some more than it is the responsibility of others. And if we accept, that there are just people who will have to be dragged kicking and screaming.
The kicking and screaming will be the companies. I mean, it will be industry. And we're seeing it happen right now. We're seeing it through the commissions. We're seeing it. If it wasn't that case, I think we would have had cheaper data ages ago. But the issue around data and the cost of communication and access to information being a basic human right, that's also up to government. The minute we start entrenching that thought process into every single person, I think that's starting to address the solution.
Lazola, do you get a sense that the government actually has its finger on the pulse, number one, and two, they have their heart? In other words, there is a willingness, political willingness, to actually deal with this question. Do you get that sense from the minister and the bureaucrats that work with him, for example? Do you get that sense from the legislators in the form of the members of parliament who are dealing with this aspect of our lives?
Not right now. I think it's still a phenomena that you come and say the right to communicate or affordable data or free data is a basic right, a basic human right. It's still a big phenomena right now. There isn't that feeling right now. Still very few organizations and communities that are calling for this. And if there was a willingness, then from a long time, from when service providers are being engaged on lowering data costs and having free basic data, the government would have picked it up. This campaign picked up speed in 2016. It is now 2018. We're still having the same spectrum conversation. Vodacom, for instance, charges for 1 gig 98 Rand in Tanzania, but here in South Africa it's 149. And the government still hasn't asked the question as to how is it done in Tanzania? All of the BRICS countries, we pay the highest for data, and the government still hasn't asked in those platforms that they sit with other BRICS countries, how is this able to be done? Legislature is not asking the questions. The Competition Commission is not asking how this is supposed to be done. So no, we don't believe so at all.
Well, from what the president said, the remarks he made when he was talking about his stimulus package to get us out of a recession and to rebuild the economy, this was mentioned as one of those key focal areas.
I do think that we have seen a little bit more movement to address the issue this year, but it's not nearly to the extent that we need. We also see it coming out with, just general issues of implementing data literacy and digital literacy in communities. It all goes hand in hand with the data cost issue. You have to address the entire issue, and we're not seeing enough from government on this.
Okay, that's what we're going to leave it. Thanks to both of my guests, Right to Know's Lazo Lakati and Media Monitoring Africa's Tandy Smith. Well.